farmer's market haul this week, which I showed you last week and is very similar. But I know it interests you. Look at these blueberries. Oh my God. Holy moly. These are like the world's hugest blueberries. Look at this. Like, I don't know if you can comprehend. That's actually like huge. It's massive. These are maybe the biggest blueberries I've seen. Oh. Okay, so we have got, as I unpack, some of my staples, some of my favorites are berries. Berries, 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 berries. I find, I had actually this morning, which is unusual for me, I had berries and dates. And what I like about that is I control the sweetness. Is if it starts getting too sweet, I have more of the raspberries or the blueberries. So I think that's a really good combo, but I haven't had a sweet breakfast in a while. I have been doing more savory foods, more of the like Dr. Brooke Goldner type way, but a bit different with juice. But basically I've been having more savory foods. As you can see, I've eaten these berries. That was berries. But I get a lot of berries. Now raspberries go off really simply. So what you want to quickly, what you want to do is make sure you freeze any berries and then grab them as needed. That's what I do. You can buy frozen, but frozen I don't like so much. I don't know, there's something about the energetics of food. I literally am living, my vibration is the energetics I get from food, and frozen food does not do it for me. It is about the fresh. Fresh, fresh, fresh. In fact, when it came down to it, I would prefer a fresh vegetable over frozen fruits. I will use it to like flavor it, but every time I try and use it to be the whole meal, my energy drops. And I believe it's because a lot of the frozen fruits aren't snap frozen. Like, I control that I freeze this. If I freeze it, it's fine. Sorry, let me rephrase. If I freeze the fruit, that's fine. I mean, if you buy it from a shop, if I make a meal that's predominantly shop bought frozen fruit, I feel so fatigued. If I have my berries, fine. I've heard other people, the people that seem to have this same problem are the people who have what I would call energetics problems, chronic fatigue. People who have suffered chronic fatigue and have got onto a really high and light raw diet often say, that they do not feel very good when they have store-bought frozen fruit, like they slowly can't get back up. I am unpacking I'm a raw foodist. My name's Sky. I have 7 missing organs. I've had 60 surgeries. I eat this way because it keeps me well. Only thing keeping me well. And this is my food haul this week. So we have already made this morning a green juice. I jumped on for that live. Now I'm showing you guys what I have bought this week. And so far we've got a lot of berries here, which I will put, well, I'll put back. We've seen the berries. There's lots of berries keeping me well. We've got purple cabbage. There's another purple cabbage over there. We have Brussels sprouts. From Seaward, Alaska. Hey there. 60 surgeries. I've had my stomach removed. I had a whole lot of pelvic surgeries where I had a second piece of uterus attached. A lot of those surgeries were to remove, a lot of were exploratory surgeries, then a lot were removing nerves, ligaments, cauterizing the area. Then I'd be put out to have cauterized IUDs put in, mostly like burn kind of the area to stop the pain. Then I had a whole lot of surgeries to do with my stomach. Then I had a whole lot of surgeries to do with my bowel. I also had a lot of times I was knocked out and needed Botox and local anesthetic put in my spine for pain. And then, off the back of having your stomach removed, you have to have constant scopes. So you're constantly knocked out, and then they take scrapings of your stomach to check you're okay. So my mum loves Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts raw. So I'm not a fan of them cooked. I don't eat cooked food. What do you mean saying I'm not a fan of them cooked? I eat raw foods. So Yeah. All right. So where are we up to? We've done berries, ginger, mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Oh, they're a different type of mushroom. I wasn't expecting that. I can't. These are. I can't remember the name right now. Someone hit me up if you remember the name of these mushrooms. We'll call them brown mushrooms for now because they're brown. Coriander. I already put some parsley and coriander in the fridge, and we've got the ginger. Lemons, I don't have a lot because I am high histamine, but I've grabbed a couple. Yes, I'm just unpacking now. I look like your grandma. Well, your grandma must be a legend. I assume she's older, so amazing. What kind of Aussie are you? I'm a raw vegan Aussie, here to help you guys be healthy. That's what I'm doing here. Have you had a zucchini? I love zucchini noodles. Okay. Avocados, high histamine, so only a couple. I've already used some of these apples this morning. These are big apples, big Granny Smith apples. I love them because they're tart. Also, Creative Heart, I was just saying before, I actually had a sweet breakfast this morning. But what I worked out, I love to do raspberries with dates and some other berries because I control the sweetness. So I worked out that when I have like tart fruits and add a bit of dates, that worked really well for me. I love Granny Smith too. You just ate an apple. Which apple did you eat? That is that first one, and we've got the Brussels sprouts. So that was one. I have 7 celeries. They're over there. I'm not bringing them across. I have 7 celeries for juicing. I juice 1 celery a day in my juice, sometimes 2 a day. So some days I miss out. That was one. I'll get the next bundle. Get the next box of fruit. I actually think this afternoon I'm going to go buy a dedicated vlogging camera because I'm about to go to New York soon. Well, that's not the only reason. I want one for, because I'm always on streaming. If I'm always on streaming, I can't access my phone. Okay. So this is my second purple cabbage. Now this may seem huge, but when you pull it out, it's like a little baby in there. See the little baby? Little baby. Okay. Purple onion. I've got 3. I probably should only get 2. To be honest, I've got stuff left over from last week that I've given to Mum and Dad because they cook. So I'm thinking I only need 2 heads of cauliflower. I've got 3. They're good heads. So I've got 3 because I'm having a lot of cruciferous cauliflower. And then the rest is, well, someone asked about a zucchini. A zucchini slipped in here. It shouldn't be in here. I didn't order any. That was nice of them. So put that to the side. And we've got, I think it was 5 kilos of cucumbers for juicing as well. And that was the whole, including I got dates and the 7 heads of celery, and that was all, I think, $340. And you might think that's expensive, but compared to what it used to cost to keep me well, that's not really expensive. The other thing is there's a lot there for juicing, which if you don't juice, you cut out like $100. So, Pink Lady. They are nice. They're nice and sweet. Thank you. Oh, you grow zucchinis. I can only imagine how good those taste. Holy moly. I need to grow food. I'm so proud of everybody who grows food. I need to do it. I wish I could do it. But so far that has not happened. So the cleaning of the juicer is what stops me, even though Nama is so easy. Okay, so I've worked out I have to get enough out of something to do something. So some people call this dopamine chasing, but I just think it's how the human brain works. So a lot of people are motivated in the morning to make a coffee, right? Because they know they'll get something out of it. That motivates them to get up. That kind of starts their day. What makes me make a juice is how electrified I feel that I am going to clean it, like the payoff of cleaning it. So it's like that A and B response that I said. So everything in the body creates an A and a B response, and they have to outweigh each other for the human to be motivated to go do it. So like if I start thinking of juicing and it gives me like that much benefit, like I might feel more clear-headed, I feel able to get through my day. And so it sits about here. But cleaning it, and that's how much positivity you get out of it. But cleaning it gives you this much negativity. And if you bring them across, the negativity outweighs the positivity. Does that make sense? So you end up over time, and this is why the raw food diet works, because when you eat a raw food diet, is it difficult? Yes. Do you get a lot of positivity out of it? Yes. Okay. When I eat other diets like a cooked vegan diet and a cooked paleo diet, is the benefit I get out of it is here, and the effort I put in is still up here. So the effort I put in for raw is up here, but the benefit's here. So I will motivate myself to get up and out of bed and go to the farmer's market on a Saturday when everyone else is laying in bed. I'll go in the rain, I'll come and sort my vegetables, I'll make a juice, all because my benefit sits up here for the effort sitting here. Whereas I feel like when I was doing other diets and lifestyles, the effort's here, but the benefits are about here. Sure, if I was eating a standard diet, the effort's about here and the benefits about here, right? So it's sort of, that's how it balances out. So when you look at what lifestyle you're going to pick up, you have to make sure that the negatives do not outweigh the positives. Otherwise, I promise you, the way that the brain works is its job is to get you out of pain. Well, it needs to get you dopamine. So when it comes to the juicer, is my benefit is that when I'm dehydrated, I barely function. So I'm like down here. And even though the effort of not juicing is down here, I think they're kind of on par. The fact that the effort that it takes to juice is high, but the benefits I get for me are up here. So anytime you do something, you must be aware that, just say someone gives you the answer to life where you're pain-free from arthritis, okay? But the effort to do the pain-free diet is up here. And all you get from it, you still got your depression, you still got your eczema, you're still pretty tired each day, but your Alzheimer's is gone, which sits here, okay? And that at the start will be okay because your arthritis is gone. But over time, the effort you put into whatever, I don't know, a soup diet, just say you go on a soup diet, is too much. So the body will find a way to get out of it. The raw food diet is so energetic, right? That yes, it is more work to do it. Sure, it is more work. But the benefits outweigh what it takes to do it. And I have tried other lifestyles and diets, and there's never one. All of them, like cooked food is so taxing on the body that it's actually a bonus that if you're having a lot of it, that you get a bit high because you're not getting it from anywhere else. Like cooked food takes so long to digest, takes up to 80% of your energy, that if you don't get a buzz from the salt and the caffeine and the preservatives, your brain doesn't see a point. So that's why it's so hard long term for people to stay on a raw food diet. Yeah. So I have been having a hard detox day on raw. I'm so sorry to hear that. My greatest suggestion when it comes to that is to have more foods that make you feel a bit better, that are maybe denser. That's what I usually do. I'm growing pepper. Look at all you growers. And 2 pecans. Oh, I have a question. Creative Heart, what are fresh pecans like? So I've only ever had dried nuts and seeds. And when I have seeds from a fruit, so I say that, but I mean like the traditional culinary seeds and fruit and seeds and nuts, is of course I've eaten seeds from fruits and they don't affect me the same as dry seeds do. So I was wondering, what do you feel different eating fresh pecans? Yes, thumbs up. Make sure you follow. Thank you. You have tons of peas too. They are softer when you have grown them fresh here because they're hydrated, right? I always drive past when I've been up in Byron Bay. There's like a macadamia farm up there, and I do drive past that. Um, and I don't know why I haven't stopped. I think because it's right next to the airport. So it's like usually when I'm just arriving and I'm like, oh, that looks like a great idea. And then I don't go. So I need to try that. How's my kitchen? My kitchen's good. Did you see the kitchen tour yesterday? I did have a couple of, not complaints, but people did ask me to film it again in long ways, which I will. 100 years old. Oh, this is the thing we have to plant now, right, for the future. What do I think about nuts? So I think nuts are amazing. I think I look younger because I have nuts. Though they are harder to digest, you've got to look after yourself enough so you can digest food like that, so you can get the benefits. When I've had nuts, seeds, yes, as well, but the fattier foods keep me looking younger. And I find nuts and seeds do that. Fruit does it. I find balance keeps me young. I have a bit of seed, a bit of nut, a bit of veggie, a bit of fruit. I did the high omega-3 diet does help, and that's like my foundation. But it really benefits me every few days to have just another meal or or a little bit more fruit or whatever my body needs. But I do default back to doing cruciferous and seeds. That seems to work best. You have a cherry bush. What's a Nanking cherry? Yum. I don't know. It sounds good. So, yeah, that's where I sit on nuts and seeds. I think if we were out in nature, okay, and we're walking around in nature and our body had all these needs and we walked past a peanut bush, and the body needed a whole lot of zinc, magnesium, some fats, we would instinctually, like some sort of animal passing it, munch on it. We may not live off it, but we will munch off it. And then we might get past some other bushes, some berry bushes, and we'd munch on it. It can get really toxic when we start going, can't have that, can't have that, can't have that. You want to do a Ken life. But I do because I choose to be a vegan. And to me, what I do is really no different to a vegan. I just do it all raw. And if there's a food that a vegan has, like my hobby is recreating that raw. Like make your hobby something which stops you being addicted to things. So an addiction for me is like stimulating things, right? So I eat, I recreate them in a non-stimulating, nutrient-dense way. I recreate addictions in nutrient-dense ways. That's my name, Sky. Oh my God, hang on. I don't know why this is all coming up. Don't want that on here. Yeah, I like tart foods as well. That's why I like berries. Like I like raspberries are probably one of my favorite. And I do think it's because this is my theory. I like to think why we do things. And I do think we like tart because I believe some of these tart things still have the hydration, but I think tart has a protection mechanism against like bacteria and fungi in the human body. So if you get hydration from like watermelon, okay, only, as we were talking about this before, carbohydrates, carbon life forms. Carbon, look, we're built from carbon, okay, but so is bacteria and so is like fungi and all these type of things. And so it's fed. And there's a protective mechanism when you have tart and sour and bitter that bugs don't like. So like squeeze lemon on a bug and it's not going to like it. Squeeze sugar on it, it'll swim in it. And I think you should take that premise. And that doesn't mean it's bad. We're just like the bug. We like the sweet stuff, right? And that's good. What a good thing to do is balance it. Like I talk a lot about it. Yeah, I have a lot of fruit, but it's just more balanced the way I eat it. Because if I swing it out of balance, I literally seem to feed things in my body. So What are your thoughts on parasites? Oh, I like this question. People think they cause every disease. Okay. Parasites will not touch healthy cells in the human body. Neither will a virus, neither all bacteria. They only touch dying necrotic cells, okay? So if you have a parasite in your body, it's actually chewing away at waste that otherwise would probably still sit in your gut or your body. They're almost in a symbiotic relationship with you. That's how life works. We've just categorized it in a negative way. Yes, if you have it, you more than likely, it depends how many you have more toxins in your body, but that's your lifestyle choices. That ain't the parasite's fault. Okay? The parasite will not touch healthy cells. They have to be half degraded and dying. And that's how a flu and virus works. The flu and virus do not touch your perfectly healthy electric cells. They get into and essentially clean out what is already partly not working, not partly good. So when you start to see life for what it is, it's not so scary. It's these things are doing their job. And your job was to look after yourself and not have so many broken cells in your body. And I think when people have a lot of toxicity, you're more paranoid. You're more reactive. You've had more stimulants, more coffee, more not so healthy things. So you're more like, oh my God, it's the parasite's fault. It's like, well, hang on a second, let's look at this. And that's the truth of it. That they only touch the decaying stuff in your gut. So I think let it do what it's already doing. Look after yourself and watch the thing leave. The other thing which is so apparent is if you have a mindset of healing yourself with dramatic and traumatic and horrible ways, that's how your brain remembers healing. As in, like, people are like, I'm going to detox myself well. I'm now going to punish myself for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, doing something so miserable and uncomfortable and cramping and depressing that it's going to get me well. How many times is that what I did my whole life? You know, something which you suffer in, surgery, medicate. There's no difference. Your brain, if you feel pain, your brain doesn't know the difference. It doesn't even really know the difference if it's on someone else. If you watch someone suffer, is your brain at some place is thinking it's happening to you. That's just how the brain and the body works. It's not complex. Do see. Hang around people who hit animals all day long. Watch have 5, 6 people in a room, 5 of them like to hit animals. Watch the 6 start hitting it. You monkey see, monkey do. But the same is anytime you think you will heal from trauma, and even just say you force yourself through this like stripping and I'm going to drink just lemon juice and it's going to be like, I'm going to fix myself. Watch every time you don't feel well that your brain will think the only way to get well is from suffering. That is the loop the matrix has on you, the hold that you need to get out of. That's the stuff. And it's longer, it's slower, but why are we here? We're here to learn to love ourselves. You have to get away from thinking that you can fix something from pain. Only thing you get from pain is more pain. You attract what you do. So you have to find a way to heal in love. Hello. I'm 44. Doctors say you can't detox viruses out, and I think you can, like Epstein-Barr. Okay. So, and I think this comes back to what I always say about how people think all these drugs and chemicals are sitting in our cells and our liver. And everybody who's heard my story, I'm probably someone who's had more drugs on this planet, been injected, 60 surgeries. I've had it. And people are like, oh, did you have detox symptoms? No, none. The reason is I don't, and I think viruses are, so without sounding too woo-woo, I look at the whole of life in cymatics. Like we are, first and foremost, if you apply to the basic principles and matters of life sound, you get shapes. If you overlay those shapes, you start to get virus shapes, DNA shapes. You start to get bacteria at more complex levels, and this feeds into sacred geometry. And cymatics I think that's how you pronounce it, is a way, basically put some sand on a speaker and watch the shapes of it change. Okay? That's essentially energy, electricity. It's sacred geometry, okay? So think of all the drugs and chemicals that have been in my system, and they're all in there, but more so held in like in a memory, in the fascia, in an electrical state. So if you re-trigger this electrical state, you will re-trigger the memory throughout the body. You might even think you taste it, feel it, reliving it. You become who you were. You're back there. You're seeing things, right? This is the only type of detox I've had, as in like things can trigger this whole cascade, right? And you can essentially detox these things out to lower levels. But when you're rawer and re-stimulated, it will be very shocking on the system. And this is where I think viruses feed in, is where you, in essence, you never truly get rid of it in the memory state of it being in the body. But I do believe that the physical virus can go. And they say, doctors say that viruses lay dormant in cells, which I guess it's true in some way, but it's about never be react. So the difference between bacteria and viruses is when they're not there, the virus actually, the bacteria isn't there. But even when you don't have the virus, the reason somebody like myself who's had chickenpox gets shingles is you reactivate the virus. And people say that stress causes shingles, but stress just allows the body to get into a state where the virus can reactivate. And I think that is a principle, is that the virus could possibly still be there just like the bacteria, but if everyone thinks of everything in a way of energy, that, you know, the memory never goes. The memory of something occurring never goes. And I brought this up before, how people who have had amnesia actually start to live their life better because they can't remember all the crap that was holding them back. Um, So, uh, so you're saying you're a no pain, no gain kind of person. So, as soon as I stopped allowing my body to get into pain, I sat in self-love and healed. Anytime I've healed myself with, I forced myself through more and more juicing or any way in this lifestyle uncomfortable, more fruit for another day, is the backswing off that is that every time something goes wrong, I think I have to fix it by suffering. So I'm like, I constantly, after coming off juicing, every time something didn't work, I'm like, I'm going to get a juice. I'm just going to have juice. I'm just going to have juice. And in doing that, my life was about pain, as in like, my life was about not enjoying the next meal or honoring what it requested of me. I was going to ignore what it felt because I had to force through this, force more. Even the word force makes me feel not so great. And I realized that I had to heal in love, to feel good, to feel energized, and to make good choices and to attract my dream life. I was not doing what doctors did to me. Well, I say doctors, but I made choices to invite these people into my life. Anything that puts me in pain creates a new pain loop. And I have not found a way to see this differently. And if people even believe in the detox theory, you will know you can never detox everything. So you're really enforcing more levels. You can get rid of, weight, right? But you don't ever get rid of the memory. And if you can find a way to heal your weight in love and loving yourself, you'll also, it's like what I was saying before with the A and B response, you'll continue to do it. So I always thought that about people that have amnesia, they don't remember the trauma because everyone, yes. And they had this woman on who remembers everything. I think she's American. She remembers everything. You can say a time and a date and she'll remember the book page, the book, where she was, the smell of things, and she lives in constant anxiety. So thoughts on there being no scientific basis for free will. I'm hoping, and I'm someone who studied science, that eventually science will not hold such a grip over us when it comes to anything physical. Because, that you may not think is physical, but the outcome of free will is always physical. Because when I healed, what I realized I was missing my whole life was, yes, you can have doctors cut out your your women's reproductive parts, but then the problem resurfaces somewhere else. Chop out my stomach, the problem just resurfaced in my pelvis. Chop out, well, it started off in my adenoids, and you just get the problem resurfacing. And in healing in love, I healed my consciousness, my soul, my physical being, and my spiritual being. Okay? And that you need to heal completely. If you skip consciousness, mentality, so consciousness, soul, physical, and spirit, if you skip any of those, you will loop back. You have to heal the whole. And science is so focused on the small, it misses that the actual free will is a combination of those four things. Like the driving force of being physical, the spiritual, the soul, and the consciousness. So it's like mind, body, soul, but there's another level which is spirit, which is what is essentially all. It's hard to explain. So I have faith in God. Anything outside of that is always up for debate. Even science is always changing. No way of understanding free will without God. And yeah, my interpretation of God is just so powerful and simple since getting on this way of life. And that is just like what I guess I always knew, but I see it so clear, is God is everything. I am you, you and me, you are me, and that I am a splice of God's consciousness, which He's allowed outside to explore and really be. It's hard to explain because I believe God consciousness, or even, anyway, yeah, is like, it's not meant for a small human in dense reality to even comprehend, but I could see it everywhere. I could see the design, only when I got on raw foods. I could see the design, I could see the flow. I could see that everything has to stay in balance. If we try to control and manipulate, that's why I always bring back to, you have to master the basics. God has given us this playground, right? But we don't spend time mastering the basics of just eating fruit on a beach for 3 months. Then go out and slowly incorporate all the other levels of density that are around. But you better learn how to be a magician, because when you come off fruit on a grounded beach, you will feel the power that you're playing with and why people are so out of balance. Because we're born into playing magicians basically from such a young age without ever mastering the basics. We're never babies just crawling around outdoors all day, grounded, and we sleep on the ground, and we wake up and we just eat some fruit and have mother's milk, and there's no stress, and we're never that. We're sadly thrown into, McDonald's and chocolate and all sorts of things. So my ex's suicide attempt 4 years ago, I got broken and never recovered. So the free will thing makes me think I'll never recover. Okay. So, I have not had somebody close to me, but many times I've lost people to something similar. And the best thing to see, this is how I see life and these experiences, and my 60 surgeries and missing my whole life because I was in a bed up until I was 40. And I could be in a situation, I was in a situation where I was like, the doctors should have looked after me, my parents don't care anymore. It was all me. It was all me, me, me. And what I mean by that is, whatever happens, if somebody takes their own life, how I see it is from the time that they came here. They were, like what Bashar says, they're only here for this period, and they were always going to check out at that time. And usually these things come across our path, or the things that come across my path, like organs being cut out, missing my whole life, just being in 9 psychiatric hospitals. The first person in 15 years that became my friend sent me a suicide letter, he's gone, is that I am stronger because of my trauma. Everything I do, and that I juice, and that I make these foods, and that I get on here and share every last detail of my life, comes from walking in the dark for 40 years. And so when people think that what they have had happened is what's breaking them, it'll essentially break you down to realize how strong you are if you can see the strength in it, because not many people can get past this or go through this, but you're still here. You're in fact on this live listening and you're sharing. That's huge. It does, of course, healing from something like that does not happen overnight. And the reason we don't understand, but what I do know with every cell in my body is that my greatest strength did not come from university studying, did not come from going to a private school, it did not come from, I don't know, any book that I read in 2 days. It came from working through crap that nobody else has walked through, and nobody will walk your path. And you don't, it's like when you come out the other side, you'll be strong and be in your conviction, because you don't want anyone to feel that. Whether it's you do something with that in that sort of field, or whether it's just you have an ability to see even more compassion in the world. But I promise you, even, I always bring this up, right? Ed Sheeran says his Grammy taught him nothing. He learnt his greatest lessons. He, in fact, became a magician because he was picked on at school for lisping. So he would come home from stuttering, I think, come home from school and practice music so he would stop stuttering. He had to work day and night while everyone else is out playing and laughing and talking normally. That's where you learn. Or he says when he loses a business partner or a business goes under, he has to adapt and learn. When you win, when someone's in the spotlight, that's not their lesson. That's just a reward. People are living thinking that the reward is the way. Like, you know, this famous person and their life looks easy and they're on a yacht, you know, cruising around somewhere. But usually behind that yacht is some businessman who has started at rock bottom and had to learn how to work their way up to get a yacht. Okay? And that lesson isn't, like, the reward is not the lesson, and that is two separate things. And when you can, and it doesn't mean it's going to fix anything, because part of the lesson is working through everything, but that's something that I do know. Hi. I just want to be a good person. I don't want someone to be sad with me and they try that again. So it's all about, it's definitely, what happened is not about you. Never is it about you. It's always, what you need to know is you were probably more of a light that kept them here much longer than they were. But the strength that, when I don't eat a really clean, raw diet, I start to notice how I think I need things, as if I'm not complete. And I just think if somebody doesn't feel good, the basics of that, as much as we think we'll avoid something or think our way out of it, is the more you look after yourself, the more life starts to give you all the gifts that you never knew you needed. And it doesn't have to be a raw food diet. For me, I have to stay raw to feel good. And I have to walk, and I'm very sad. It's been raining for like 3 days, and I saw the ocean today because I jump in the middle of winter in the rain, but it's not looking too good. I need to be in nature. I need to be only around good people, and I need to be of service. And these are things that if I step away from, I don't feel very good. And I think that if I spend my life doing these things, life just gives me more than I can imagine. Like, it's like the dream. But I thought getting the dream was you crawl your way. You hide, crawl, you do, just so you're in a photo at a wedding. Now I'd be like, I'm not going to the wedding if I don't feel looked after. Nothing against the people. I don't really care if the people think it's sad. I'm not there. It's got to do with me. Everything, I control me. And that's what I realized is the more I love me, I get that. I can feel that. I have control over that. Everything else, it's just a fleeting feeling. So a lot of people, like, just say I don't go to a wedding because I just don't want to be in an environment where there's a lot of meat, okay? It has to, so that outweighing. If the person I care about a lot, I will push that aside. But if it's like, I won't do it. And it's not that I don't care what those people think. If those people are thinking that their problems are related to me, they have issues that are nothing to do. If no issues are really outside people, they're all about the person. We just project. We love to project as humans. We've learned from a young age, like especially as a kid, my day's horrible. You know, as a mother, my day's horrible. You don't even do the dishes. And then a child thinks that their mother's day is horrible because they didn't do the dishes. It starts young, okay? But what you need to know is that's projection. Every action I take is all me. Every action everybody takes is all them. It's not, and the more you go, okay, if it's my action, I'm just going to do good actions. As in like good food, good movement, good time outdoors. And if I chose to put something toxic in my life, it's kind of like inviting the devil back. I don't know which way it's also going to pop in. But if I continually stay in sunlight during the day, have good sleep, have good food, say no to addictive things, say no to bad people, is life just keeps reflecting that at me. But I do notice as soon as I start to, it's like I talk about when I tried to put coffee back in. Next minute I've got GERD and I've got a sore neck, and then you think you need reflux medication, and then you think it's just that prime example where if you do good, all that life can really give you is good. But a lot of people see that good as mundane, but it's actually the path. Oh, you're definitely not bothering me, Nexie. You're amazing. And I think I don't talk about it enough, but my superpower is essentially that I survived, right? It's people want to know that it's great that I healed, but in truth, I have walked a dark path. But most of when I walked it, I thought I was in the light or trying to be in the light. And I don't even think you can change that, okay, is because my soul needed lessons. And I guess you could say I'm a glutton for punishment, but really my soul needed to go through so much hell to actually see the light. Like that a lot of what I was doing most of my life was just comfortable. And as I've said before, I've said this, rich white girl comfortable. Like at the time, I didn't think I had anything. I lived on the water. I went to a private school, had a boat at 10. I had everything plus a billion more, not billions of dollars, but you know what I'm saying is, but I still thought I didn't have enough. And that's a kid thing, right? Is, oh, she has this, I want this, you can't go there, I want to go there. Whereas now, and then how I healed was like I had no family. I had a funny little apartment with, people struggling also around me, many addictions around me. I healed with my funny salad bowl. Well, everyone says it's funny because it's plastic, and a half broken chair on cement in a car park because that's the only access to sun I could get. My greatest lessons were learned in like dark times. So I believe in everybody. It's like you've got to see the light no matter where you are. So we all do. We all have to heal. But what I want people to do is heal in love, which is hard. It seems easy, but it's what people feel is hard work, where it's actually what life is. And when you get in the flow of it, it's actually quite a pleasure. Like getting up early, going to the farmers markets. Most days I would now be out in nature or getting on and sharing. And that doesn't have to be visually. You might start a blog. You don't even have to use your own photo. Coming in here and talking and sharing about some of your experiences helps. It's like giving out good. And the more you do that, that's all life will give you back. And I think why it's so hard for many people to see that is because we've put out so much dark. We really don't think light exists anymore. And I don't mean each of us personally. I just mean for a long period. I feel like this planet is in like a density which we were never. Well, I think life does what it's meant to do. It got its flow. There's a reason for all of this, but we're in this like dense space where a lot of us think that life is just torture and you survive the best you can. And I used to think that, but now what I realized is if you do good, you'll see good. So you should give motivational talks more often, Sky. Thank you. I'm a pretty positive person. I think, I always have the mindset that things happen for me, to me, and don't have a victim mentality. And this is what and I talk about this often, but probably just through food, is what changed for me is that, and it took the raw foods, because it just cleared my consciousness. It also took nature, but it took me being away from everything I had taken for granted. We take for granted our family and all of that. And then when they're not there, I still was like, they did, they're the ones that have left me. Who leaves a sick person? But really, I needed to do those self-care things. And then I started to see that I always had control over my life. Like plants and nature were always there. There's like, I remember bringing up the topic as well that like when I was younger, if I had the energy, what I would choose to do was essentially escape. So I would want to go out on the weekend because I'd be in environments where I could numb myself more because I was already in so much pain, on so much pain relief. I'm like, get me out for dinner where I'd have more wine. Well, I wasn't a drinker until I went into these environments and numbed myself. Or I'd go out on like a Saturday night, right? Now, when you put yourself in one of those situations, you actually just say, this never happened to me, but just say there's girls who go out every Saturday night and they dress in like short skirts and tops, and that's all fine, right? But then one of them ends up raped. If on those Saturday nights they had chosen to meet up with friends and have a picnic early in a park and have an early night's sleep, it doesn't mean they would never be raped, but the chances of it happening are much lower. And this I never took into consideration. If you start choosing acts which as a whole you see have lower risk, you are already doing self-love. Okay, so I felt like I was in so much pain when I was going through life that most of my choices came for escape, but they were all putting more toxins in my body. No wonder more, I'm not saying that's the cause, but I chose activity. So why I'm getting back to this is it's quite common that, the girls who put themselves in these situations and end up, I'm not saying it's their fault. That's not what I'm saying. But I looked at these because I wanted to look at every situation where victimhood occurs, where people, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. Okay. If you choose lower risk things, which is the self-care things and self-love. So if I pick celery and cabbages and walks in nature and laughing with friends as my basis of life, podcasts and talking to people, the chances of cancer, domestic abuse, all these things dramatically lower. And what I'm trying to say here is a lot of people who do high risk things can feel like they're in victimhood, but they're consistently choosing, and I was one of them, high risk things. And then when something bad happens, what I'm saying, it's hard to get out. But once you get out of victimhood, you take all your power back. Because if I had controlled all of my past, I now control my future. And do you know how powerful that is? I choose what I do. I choose who comes into my life. If it bothers me and I leave the person, I don't think how they feel. It's all about me now. I don't stay and feel toxic to make somebody feel better. I will walk knowing that person may be sad for a couple of weeks, but I've done both of us a favor because I'll get moody. I pick low risk things and I'm never in victimhood. And even if it happens, I look for the lesson. So I know people, like when I get something like shingles, is people are like, oh, it's happening to you again, you poor thing, I don't know how you get through it. And that's like, I know that everyone cares. And I'm like, maybe not so much when I'm sick, but looking back, I've said, I know I pushed my body too much, especially with like foods that weren't serving me. I got myself stressed. And the more you do self-love, you will get yourself out of victimhood. You just do, because you stop being in a state where everything's happening to me and you have no control and your choices become high risk. And if you just, I think what Chris Kendall told me is so valuable, and I already know it, is in the dark, if everything is so dark, putting electrical food in you will shift you when you can't shift you. So trying to think your way out of things, we can self-sabotage and not even know. And that's where raw foods can really help with the mindset, because if you keep putting like a mango in or a cucumber in, or these foods may take a few days, but you'll see the changes because they're so high vibrationally that you have to match the energy that's put in. It's no different than then like if you put a really highly excited electron with a lower excited electron, they have to match. They have to come into balance. That's how life works. So if something is toxic and really festered and like you've got eczema and you've got bad relationships, if you put packets of light inside of you, which are actually physically, without changing your mindset, without thinking yourself better, without even going out in nature, you have to essentially, it's high vibrational and you're low, you have to match. So it's like, there's many ways you can do it. Sky, oh, thanks, Creative Heart. You still hate Mondays. You've got to find a way to love it, because otherwise your whole week becomes about avoiding Monday and being excited because it's not Monday. And so sometimes it's about finding ways to treat yourself on Monday. Like Monday is going to be a busy day, so Sunday night I'm going to do something special for myself. Or maybe it's because you got through Monday that Tuesday morning you do something special for yourself. Or midway through Monday you make your favorite meal that makes you feel nourished and good. Or you have to find a way to love everything. That's what I say, is the more I work on loving my external everything, even we were talking about addiction earlier, and I had to put these things into categories where they were used on this planet for my mental health, because anything I dig around with that has this negative energy starts to get a control over me. And it's like I'm so scared of it, I want to use things to numb myself so I'm not so heightened. So I was talking about alcohol, if there's someone has a bottle of vodka on the beach, if I cut my foot with an oyster, it can be used. So I was talking about one time on a plane, I was really unwell, and in hindsight, to relieve the pain, I probably should have had a small amount. And this is not about lowering my standards and getting back into addiction. I have truly found anything in my psyche and presence which has a negative hold starts to have this like pull without me consciously knowing. So these days, hey, hope the Philippines is nice. What do you think when people say it's all past karma, like any suffering? I'm not sure about that. So I'll tell you, I don't know whether I've told you guys about this part of my journey. So when I came out of, I believe you have karma in this life, okay? In that it can play out, and we all have tons of it. We've all been trodden on ants. We've all been meanies at school. We've all, you know, I don't know. We've all done something. I'm trying to think here. But when I had, if you know my healing story, there's different sections of it, but essentially I was physically sick until 36. Then I dissociated, and I was well for a year in 2018. And then I got shingles through the eye, and I couldn't walk or talk, and I had all these psychiatric problems. So before that, never really had a psych problem, but I was dealing with everything physically. And what happened is when you have to imagine being that sick and being well and then thinking you're going to get sick again. That to me even is a nervous breakdown in itself. But when it started to come over me, it was so weird because it felt like I was losing, which is FND, you're losing feeling in your limbs. Day by day, all the feelings were going in my limbs. Then I couldn't get up. I laid in front of a heater at mum and dad's, I think you call it heater, air conditioning, for I think 7 days straight. I'm not even sure I made it back to I couldn't move my limbs. And when you hear people who have FND, and I believe it's spiritual and psychological all intertwined in one. But before this, and before having a break with reality, everything, you kind of wish that God would appear or an alien would appear, like, probably a dopamine thing. But when you actually start undertaking a spiritual journey, it's freaking heavy. It's like being in a different reality. And when I was laying on that floor and I couldn't lift my head, it was like every day my body was getting number and number. And I thought to myself, what happens when your head gets numb? Like when this feeling goes into my head, what comes next? Am I going to die? I don't know. FND is very hard to describe, but I do believe it's emotional, physically, psychological. So I'm laying in the heater and finally it left. And when it did, it's like whether it's PTSD or an overlay, it was this overlay where it was like watching I mean, I hate to say put a religious spin on it, not religious at all, but it was like somebody was carrying me off on a cross, as in like like my soul. They were saying my soul is going, and this you can look at this however you want. But I remember this, and it's like we're taking your soul, and now you will function with your karma. So what you can do with your body now, you will have earned, basically. And if I was to say anything like this period, which has been, I've talked about a lot in different ways, it was almost like you could classify it when people talk about rebirths. You can classify it when people talk about near-death experiences. You can classify it as psychiatric dissociation. It covers it in all, a religious awakening. It's in all of them, right? But I've never experienced anything like this. So in truth, what these people that took what I was kind of birthed, you birthed your soul, and whatever that soul's traveled this earth and learnt is in your skin type thing. Like you now have to basically do whatever you get out of people and life and yourself is what you've earned type. That's what these two souls that were carrying my spirit or soul off, it would look like on a cross or something. It's hard to explain. It's not actually there. It's like in a dream state. Anyway, from then on, I couldn't move my body. I couldn't move my body very well as everything was going. I couldn't move my body, but it was like relearning. I had to go to a freaking hospital and relearn to walk and talk. And these angels or whatever have basically told me that what you do now, it's like being born. You can't do them. And it's interesting because before I felt my soul go, is you do things in flow. So everything is connected. Although we learned to walk, something in me already, probably from a young age, knew how to do it. Everything, it was so easy. It was like trying to move limbs again for the first time and your whole body. And even when I walked, it was like, Mum would say, it's like watching a robot like walk, as if my essence had left my body. And it was so hard. Anyway, and then still more, there's more layers to this where it's like, I don't know that was something that I definitely remember feeling, experiencing, and in my dream state of post-traumatic stress, which is different to these overlays of, I guess, post-traumatic stress, but that was very common. And it was just like constant, it's hard to explain the rest of it. I try to explain it the best I can so it's not confusing, but then most of it was like was it, I don't know, stress, or I don't know, was it all my trauma, or was it, but it was like rebirthing. It took 2 years from that to get to the raw foods. 2 years of absolute hell. I would have rather been drugged up in a bed in pain, trust me. Like when I was in chronic pain, I was so used to it. Like I was medicated, or there was a surgery, or there was a hospitalization. Or the other difference was, this is the other major difference with what I went through, is when I went through this, when I got in too much pain or in surgery or whatever, even if there wasn't a medication, the body cuts out. So when you get in a certain amount of pain, you get a certain amount of adrenaline, you get a certain amount of numbness, which the body makes itself. What happened during that time? That wasn't available. You felt everything. Like it was just weird. I don't know. It seems so. If somebody told me this, I'd be like, I don't know what I'd say. I would never think it would happen to me. But it was really, really like being born again or starting. So, good night. Yes, strawberry picking is definitely much better option. Like that's back to that victimhood thing. Yes. Good night. Middle school. I don't know what middle school is. I look like Julianne Moore. I get the strangest things. Our party boy is here. Middle school. Oh, yes, but who was somebody asking about middle school? I live for Fridays. I used to be like that until Do you know what? Until I got my actual real life, like now my ADHD is like a mirror for my life. So I'm like, I'll do a live, I'll do an ebook, I'll talk to my friends, I'll read a book, I'll go to the beach, I'll do a run. I feel like having a rest. It's like perfect for me. If you try put me to Monday to Friday, I think before I even try and do a Monday to Friday, I have trauma because I hated Monday to Fridays. We had school and then we had school again and then work and like, so I love the lifestyle I've created because it's so like, well, after this, if I want to put my feet up, I can. When I start structuring things too much, I feel like I get trauma. Oh, I just think that we were all so stressed out and traumatized and in the dark when we were young that a lot of people would seek out like something extremely fun or daring or bad because it like helped us feel something without feeling so dense. So, oh, I love doing that today. Today I'm so jealous. I put on some beautiful music and just ran for hours. Oh, that's the best feeling. I didn't run today because I am finding I ran yesterday. I need a day off at the moment because I'm getting back into it. If I keep running, I don't sleep properly. Like Forrest Gump, I just keep running. They are important. Today's a rest day. My rest days are still pretty busy, but they're like, I just notice as a woman, if I want to run, I feel like it's a lot on my system. So I need to like not just run. Also, Creative Heart, Party Boy, and Tessa, can you send me an email so I can gift you some of my ebooks for all the great work you do? I really appreciate you. I know that you like, I don't know exactly what a mod does because I've never been on many lives as a mod, but I know you like literally filter out a whole lot of crap out of my life that I never have to see. So email me at Raw Sky and I'll send you guys some of my ebooks because I appreciate you a lot. Oh, I'm so glad. Please say hi to Lillian. I love running. Hi, Lillian. I don't know who Lillian is, but hi, Lillian, and welcome. Welcome to I was going to say Ramblings Truths. It should be called the Truths Time. Everything is just like, it's very free. Whether you share it in comments or whether you share it like this, I feel like life, the reason, like the purpose of like being able to communicate with people is to share our experiences. Oh, thanks, guys. It is Saturday here. So I was just saying, I really need to go out and buy a camera. I'm on my phone. It's always dying. I need my phone. So my plan is to actually go out and buy a camera. I actually have to finish putting this food away. I've shown you guys my food. I haven't put it away yet. I love you too, Charles. I love everybody. Thank you for being here. I am good. Oh, you are definitely giving back. You ask amazing questions, Creative Heart. You also filter through all of what's going on. So maybe next time you see me, I will be even more in great pixels. I don't know what a camera is going to do, but it will free me up if I just have it sitting there and can just turn it on and not have to be like, well, is my phone charged? Is it going to die? So that's my perfect Saturday night. Do you want to know what my perfect Saturday night is? Nothing. It's doing nothing. My weeks are so busy. By the time I get to Saturdays and I go to the farmer's market, I'm like, what I do like doing is getting up early tomorrow morning and doing Pilates. Yes, thanks, party boy. Probably easier to get a second phone to just film with, a cheap one. It probably is, but yeah, it probably is. But I think the actual cameras are better on the vlogging ones. And then I think my mind as well sees a camera, If I have two phones, my mind might explode. There might be double postings going on. I might be like, well, I've got to do double time now. What's your favorite thing to do on your day off? That's a good question. Okay, I have some, it's usually exercise. It doesn't change. I've made my lifestyle so that whether I have clients or whether I do lives or whether I create, is I do the same thing. So I love making recipes, which is part of my job. I love, in summer, I love when Heidi and I, who's high rule, go down and we get our spirit cards out and we do like spirit cards by the beach and make some raw food. I love Pilates. I love nature. I love the ocean. You can just have me at the ocean all day. I love walks. I love running. What else? I really don't like shopping centers that much. I am about to do a big shop. I've got to clean out my wardrobe too to fit new things in because they're just all like very old. They're going to be donated, but they need to be moved on now. Plus, I've overworn them, I feel. But yeah, those things I do most days anyway. So I love that my life doesn't change whether it's a day off or day on. I do usually, to be honest, on a Saturday, I usually will finish this and stop. So I will just like, I might flick through a phone or read, but I usually have a tendency on Saturdays afternoons to do nothing and restart again on Sunday. Like that my week has been so big and I'm still going on Saturday morning. I usually take a class on Saturday morning, but I'm trying to slow that down a bit. But usually Saturday afternoons, that's why I'm like, do I go get a camera? Should I just do it tomorrow? I usually just stop. Yeah. So yes, it is an investment. It's an investment that, like, what I want to say to anyone who wants to be a content creator or get into this is start, or whatever, in being a raw vegan, start with what you have and it will take on its own life. Don't be like, I'm going to become a content creator. I need an editor. I need to be an expert at Canva to make thumbnails. I need to buy a microphone. I started with none of this. You just, as you go on and get more confident in the tools that you have, you'll add a microphone. You'll add, I haven't even, what I've been doing this 3 years and I've put off getting a camera. Because if you know me and you've seen my kitchen tour, my ADHD brain works very well with minimalistic things. So when I bring a new tool in, not only does you get a new tool, it needs new microphones, it possibly needs a new bracket. It's going to have a box, which I'm going to have to put in the bin. It's going to have an instruction manual that I'm going to have to get used to reading, which I never read. I go, where's on, where's off, where's focus? I'm good. My brain works best minimalistic. So that's how I work. I don't like bringing new things in. I master the tools I have. Before I got onto this self-love lifestyle, I thought the fix for things was excess. I thought, throw medication at this, throw another doctor at this, throw another nutritionist. Oh, I haven't tried that. Give me 3 of those. Now I worked out that everything just works so much better with less. So I don't even go shopping. I'm like, another top borrowed off my mum. I would rather just borrow than actually think through these things. I was never like this. I was excessive. I'm not like that anymore. The only thing I love spending money on is this stuff, because it's like, I feel like I transmute it into like my life. I feel like this is the gateway for not just cucumbers, all raw foods. It's the stuff which makes me tick, and that's all that matters. Everything else after that is like, comes from me doing that. That's how I feel. The quality will be amazing with the camera, although the new phones are really good. I have 2 phones. It gets kind of crazy. So I've seen a lot of TikToking girls. This is a 13 Pro Max. And I've seen a lot of girls say that they love their 13 Pro Max more than their newer phones because the newer phones have more grey undertones. I don't know. Oh, thank you. You love vegetables. Vegetables are the best. We are cool. So when I stream, good point about the streaming. When I stream, it will be what will happen, and you're right there. I didn't think about that. But usually I'm not just streaming, I'm usually filming videos and reels, and I like it because I edit straight on the phone. But now I will more than likely have the setting on my phone set to camera. That is a good point. I didn't even think of that. So when a lot of the streams that I do, it's so weird. When I do these sort of streams, I usually get much more reach than when I use streaming software. And when I log in for the streaming software, which I log into a computer with, is it asks what camera do you want to use? And then I click in my phone, and like all those podcasts I do, I connect my phone, and then I want to access my phone, and I've got to disconnect it because you can't access your phone while it's a camera. So that is like huge. But essentially, you're right. When I stream like this is definitely easier. I would prefer to stream, and I do like to stream off the software. I just noticed the views aren't as great. I don't get to reach as many people, which I hope over time will shift. But I do all podcasts from Streamware, which is essentially would be any camera I connect to my computer. But yeah, so these lives may not be much different unless I set the settings on my settings app on the phone to a different camera, which I may do. My ADHD brain is exactly the same. Your kitchen, even from what we see, is so nice. Oh, I did a kitchen tour yesterday. If you had to choose one dish to pick, what would it be? What would you pick? To be honest, I think I'd pick that. If you mean like a raw vegan dish, there's two things here. So if it was like my salad that saved my life is like something which is really sustainable, which I absolutely love and always feels good. But if I was to pick a dish right now, my raw vegan steak I made yesterday was pretty freaking fantabulous. I don't know whether I've ever topped a recipe like that because all the marinade went through all the layers, and then you warm it up and then it like gets softer with like a creamy sauce. And then I did it with a tomato sweet tomato chutney, which had a bit of spice in it. Holy cow, I could be dreaming about that for a week. That was a really good meal. But if you were to say like what makes me feel like enlightened and connected, like that's more gourmet. So, and not that that's bad, I still felt amazing afterwards, but like, I don't know, there's two sides to that. What's your favorite vegetable? At the moment, it's probably cabbage or cauliflower. I actually think it's probably cauliflower. It's just hearty. It's just hearty. Who said that word yesterday? And I was like, you've nailed it. It's creative heart. She's like, it's so hearty. I'm like, yes, I need to look at things more hearty. Chat what you do with a guy left you on a... Hang on. Chat what to do when a guy left you on deliver for 5+ months and he sent you JS today a sticker and viewed your profile. Okay, so I can tell you there, right, what to do is, at the moment, you might be his choice of the day. I'm getting generally what you said there. So there's some guy that you really liked and you really cared for, and you probably put in effort in some ways that he didn't notice, like as in he totally ghosted you. And it's 5 months later, and even though you still care for him, you haven't heard from him, right? So now he's looking at your profile, sending you a picture, basically love bombed you in one day, but right when you'd met him, he just decided not to connect with you. So you could pursue this guy right now, right? You could reply to his message. More than likely, he'd want to see you right away if he's love bombed you. And he will hurt you. He will next week. It might be someone else. Where has he been in the last 5 months? He's been doing what he's doing to you today to a billion other girls. If he hadn't, just say something had happened to him, which I bet it didn't because you've seen him active on social media. But if you did, something had happened, he'd and he cared about you, he would have written to you an explanation. You know, possibly there was a family emergency, he got off social media, and he'd love to, if you two could just talk. Okay, but what a guy presents you with is all you're getting. So far this guy's presented you with some sort of communication 5 months ago, then nothing for 5 months, and then love bombed you in 1 day. So when you get into a relationship with him, that's all you get. So he'll pick and choose when he's going to speak to you. And if you respond to his love bombing, you're essentially like Pavlov's dog. He's mastered how to control you. So I don't know if that's the question you asked, but that's the answer that I'm giving. So streaming software almost always oppresses reach for whatever reason. It's a widespread issue. It might just be a software integration to the algorithm issue. Yeah, it's sad, really, because though these lives get many trolls, the amount of people that have written to me that are like, I've been raw for this long now, and you gave me the inspiration to listen to myself. Like, I know there's people there that it's reaching. And also, when it says at the moment on the screen 27 people are watching, what happens when this is live is it's people are coming in and going. Like, it's not just the same 20 drop to 20 right then. People are coming and going. So I may grab someone for 5 minutes and someone might be like, oh wow, you know, they'll come back. And so it works very different, but it's also nice to do the podcast in a private space. So do you have a vegan version of chili sandwiches at Dave's Hot Chicken? I don't, but you know whose you should go check out? Go check out Daniel McKinnon's. He does like sloppy joes and hot dogs and hot dog buns, and I do them, but I don't do them probably heavy enough for what you like. I'm more simplistic. Like, if I make a good bun or sandwich, I will not put more dry chicken in it. It does not serve my body. I'm happy to do it like lightly dehydrated like yesterday, or do a full dehydrated patty with more fresh stuff around it. But if this was probably because I was used to be so sick, is Daniel McKinnon body can obviously tolerate like lots of dehydrated stuff in a meal. I cannot do that. I have to have it supported and supplemented with more fresh. And to have like a chili on a sandwich, I guess I could. I do bread rolls. I guess it would only be chili that would be added. Why do you think? Okay. Tay why not shop for meat at local farm if you don't want anything added in it? No, I don't want an animal hurt. I mean, I think there's a lot of vegans who eat things in it so that there's not. And those animals, when they're killed, release so much adrenaline, but even that, the suffering is unimaginable. So that ain't happening. As a vegan, what do you think of those in a strict carnivore diet? I just found out about that diet. Apparently, they only eat meat, eggs, fish, and nothing else. I was shocked. Okay. I think if you have been on a carnivore diet, you will know why it doesn't work. It's the most low vibrational diet I could ever imagine. It's so dense. Everyone on it that stays on it long term goes red. So all I see is those guys, they have the big red cheeks and stuff. So I think it kind of speaks for itself. Plus, in those groups, yes, I see raw vegans that are like, you know, the diet didn't work for me. I didn't get this and that. But you don't see what you see underneath some of those posts. I didn't go to the toilet for like 2 weeks. My brain, I always see, you don't get raw vegans it doesn't work for them saying this. They were the most depressed they'd ever felt in their life. They couldn't get out of bed. It's like, it seems horrible. Like you're putting just dead stuff in you. I can't imagine any benefits. The only benefit people are getting is that they're not putting in excessive, uncontrolled, and so when you put one food in, even if you only put McDonald's patties in or McDonald's burgers in, you stop putting in a ton of other stuff, and that may stop some symptoms, and people go, oh, it's cured it. But the only way that I know raw veganism cures, or raw foods cure, is because you feel electric. That's why I stay on it. I have all this energy. Like, I don't even think about my disease anymore until a few rashes come up, then I'll adjust it. Mostly I'm thinking about creating and making. And my life, even when I was well, was never like that. I was never like, what can I create? What can I share? What can I better myself with? How can I got this energy to do Pilates and run? And I've never experienced that on cooked vegan, paleo. I did some candida diets and naturopathic diets when I was younger. Nothing is like this. So that's why I think I stay, and any other diet I don't think will work. Should I left on? Should I leave him for? I think it's forever, like he did. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you only get what he's given. So if you chose to be with him, don't expect more. Expect the same suffering that you felt to come back into your life. You can't expect more. He's given you a little taste test. He's given you a little sampler pack of him. So the guy thinks what he's chatting now is actually what he's talking you into, like, is a representation of what he's going to give, and that you'll give into that. But what he's actually shown you is him. So that he talks to you, then does not talk to you for 5 months, and then comes back in, and I'm not sure what he's saying now, but I can only imagine. Don't expect that you'll get anything more than that of him. You know, if a guy's being I saw this beautiful soul. She was a one of Victoria's supermodel angels, and her name's Vida, and she's really funny. She's over on TikTok, and she shared about the guy that she married, and she was with a partner when she met her now husband, and she broke up with her partner, and the guy immediately contacted her and said, "I'd love to take you out." And she said, "Oh, I'm about to go to Australia for, the first modeling gig since breaking up with her boyfriend." And he said, "I'll fly to Australia and take you out on a date." Okay, now granted, he had money to fly to Australia, but it could even be the skate park where he will turn up. Like as soon as she broke up and he had no partner, the first thing he did was do all his resources. It wasn't even, I don't even think it was anything more than a night out. And so that, she said, what she said afterwards, she said, "Girls, so if there's a guy who won't even pick you up, or there's a guy who won't even answer your call, think about what you want, because what he's shown you what he can give." And that's, in my experience, I would not take that. But it's not me. So that's what I think. I never tell anybody what to do. So pretty, Pink. Thank you. Love from the Netherlands. Humans have been hunting since the dawn of time. What makes people think eating only vegetables be healthy? Okay, shall we show? Shall we do a bit of show and tell? Oh, they're definitely not healthy. How can when I eat meat? And let's have a look. I always think this is why I love what I do, because I don't even have to, I'm not here to talk anybody into it. You can make your mind up yourself. And mind you, I had doctors at this time and nutritionists when I show you this photo. And I've been in hospital, so they had to watch everything that went in my mouth, because they didn't think I was eating. So here, you tell me a vegetable's good for you. That was when I was on a high protein diet, 3 meals a day plus 3 protein shakes. Now, let's see me when I was cooked vegan. I'd been paleo, cooked vegan, and I was still getting sicker. And this is, I'll show you 10 weeks apart, 4 weeks apart of just the vegetables, which aren't healthy. Who said we've been hunting since the dawn of time? Who said we've been hunting since the dawn of time? The same people that say that McDonald's and alcohol is healthy. So that's me, cooked vegan, and I'd also been paleo, and I'd been just in hospitals as well. So they'd been giving me what I should have done. Now I eat fresh, raw foods, and I'll show you what fresh, raw foods did to me. So you saw the one with meat, that's vegan. Now I'll show you what 4 weeks of fresh, raw foods did. Yeah. And I'm up. I'm still skinny, but I'm doing much better. So that's 4 weeks, and then 1 year is, I think I've got to go back. It's a little bit of an issue to find the photo. And I have no disease. Oh, my blood work healed. Doctors could not get my bloods to heal. On a paleo diet, I was having, which is essentially the hunter-gatherer diet that apparently we ate, I was needing 4 blood transfusions a year. I let all of that go and started eating a raw plant-based diet. Never had 1 blood transfusion when I did too much juice and sugar, and that has held, and it never used to hold. There. That's 10 months of raw food. I've got blonde hair, my hair's grown back, no dye in that photo. I think there's only a tiny bit of powder on in that photo. So I think there's, those plants give me nutrients. But hang on, you seem to be the expert down there. What do you think? Do you think I got some nutrition from those plants? Also, when I was eating meat, I had my stomach removed. I was just like everyone else in society. I was full of disease. Some of these people who comment on my posts over on TikTok, and they're like, oh, you look so sick. Why would you do that? And I'm like, I have no disease. How diseased are you? I don't know a person after 40 that's not on some sort of medication or some sort of issue. And then I eat this way. I'm like, I have no stomach. I lived in a bed for 25 years. I've had over 60 surgeries and I healed myself. So I think for me, I know that there's a ton of nutrients. A ton. The iron deficiencies, didn't I tell you? You've got it so wrong. I needed iron infusions for 15 years, including on the apparent hunter-gatherer diet. I have no stomach. Doctors told me I'm missing the part of my stomach which absorbs iron. So you tell me, why don't I need infusions anymore? All I do is eat how nature intended, which is just the fresh food. You go out in nature and you pick the food. Look, where I believe animals would have come in is if we're talking like originally, somehow we ate fruit and plants. Just say an animal got caught in a fire or something, and we were in a period in history with a low amount of fruit and veg and nuts and seeds and growth. It makes sense that we would scavenge meat. That doesn't surprise me at all. What surprises me is that people farm animals, like raise them, and think that that is like somehow normal. Like I literally could walk out, if someone left me in an apple orchard, it wouldn't faze me. I have no anxiety, no stress. I would get a bit sick of apples, but I know I'd be fine. A couple weeks, couple months, whatever, okay? You can't leave people in a pig den and think that they're going to be fine. They're not. So, like people with Lyme disease, all the people in the group that have healed Lyme disease, I've got people on my channel who couldn't heal Lyme disease until they went raw. It healed, there's nothing I haven't seen it heal. Like Lyme, any MS, even Dr. Morse gets people with paraplegia, not completely walking, I don't think, but moving limbs again. Because it has electricity in it. What organic gives you, because it's not the proper, you've been told a whole lot of, do you know how much energy it takes to break down meat? 80% of the body's energy. I'm readily absorbing iron and vitamin C. Most people might eat a ton of like acidic iron, but you can't absorb iron unless you have B12, vitamin C, magnesium, vitamin A. What do you think I'm eating? So you think factory, no. Yeah, no. It's definitely, how is that normal? That's the strangest thing I've heard all day. I'm not even going to get into that. That's something where it's way past my pay grade right there. I don't, sometimes you don't know how to communicate to people that think that's normal. I don't think I even thought that's normal when I ate meat from a very young age. Like you'd say, if you said to my nieces, and I know my niece Addie, I know that she thinks about trying to do it, and she does try and include more, and everyone's on their own journey, is a little child can't comprehend that little fluffy chickens are locked up and animals are locked up and they become their hamburgers. So that, I don't know how you do. Even I as a child couldn't comprehend that. Oh, yep. Oh, I was trying to grab that one, Creative Heart. Thank you. Yeah, so that's the carnivore works temporarily. It does, I think it works because you don't have a whole lot of stuff. And I will say this, as much as I am vegan, in my experience, is what is the most toxic thing for my body was chemicals. So if you eradicate chemicals, so they're different things, one's spiritual and one's totally density. But if you eradicate chemicals, like so much of my disease lowered. It didn't fix it. I still needed the iron infusions and I still ended up with FND. Nothing really fixed with me until, well, I think we know. We can see by these pictures. But like I was very conscious as well when I healed, how different the result was. Like it wasn't a little bit. It was so dramatic. Oh, thank you. I speak the I can't say I speak my truth. I speak from feelings. I speak from the heart. So yeah, we want to, I don't know, raw foods pushes me to do things and better myself, and I love that. I love that. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm sure people will come back. I'm sure people will come back. Yeah, I wasn't absorbing nutrients, and then I think doctors would say the raw food diet. A doctor would never have got me onto this diet, because this is the diet which is like, people think of like, well, how I'm going to get bloated, this isn't going to work. It's like we're eating nutrients. You'll feel amazing. So I am going to love you and leave. I may come back later, but I need to just put all this food away. And I can't really do that while you're here because I'll be stuck in the fridge. So love you guys. And Tessa, Party Boy, and Creative Heart, make sure you email me. They do, but you know what? We're getting, the trolls are learning, I feel. They can't not learn. So thank you for all you do. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.